Grizz Nation, good morning. It is time for another game day update. We're doing a little earlier today because it is a little earlier tip off. It's a Sunday 5 p.m. tip off. The Grizzlies are in Detroit taking on the Pistons. So joining me for probably the 1200th time since we started doing this, Omari Sankofa II. How are you today, sir?
Doing good, Kelcey. How are you?
I'm good. I am ready to play Detroit for the first time this week, but then we're going to play them again Friday here in Memphis. Saturday? Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Friday. Twice this week, we get to see your face here. So thank you for coming on. Both teams coming off pretty big wins. The Grizzlies over the Sixers, the Pistons, a big win over the Mavs. Cade Cunningham still out. Jaden Ivey is back in, but Cade Cunningham, the number one pick 2 drafts ago, like kind of a bummer to have him out.
Yeah, it's tough. The team believes he has a stress fracture under his left shin, and he's just evaluating his options as far as rest or surgery. And I think the official designation on the injury is like left shin soreness, but at some point he's going to make a decision on his shin, and it could cost him the rest of the season. So obviously a tough blow, but they've also it's not really reflected in the record, but they've been playing better basketball. I won't say good basketball, but they've been playing better basketball since he's been out. So maybe the season still has a little bit of upside, but more than likely they're going to be without him for at least an extended period.
Okay, well, that is a bummer to hear, but it still leaves Killian Hayes, Isaiah Livers, Bogdanovich. Like, what has been with Kate out? Who has been the person to step up? Like, a win over the Mavs is massive.
Yeah, I would say Killian Hayes has stepped up a lot over the last few weeks. He's shooting the three ball a lot better. I think in his last 13 games, he's shooting like 38% from three. He actually had a really big game over the Mavericks. That was an overtime victory, 131-125, where he hit like a sidestep and then a step back three at the end of the overtime period to kind of give him that win. And I think he scored 14 of his 22 points in the fourth quarter in overtime. So Killian had kind of struggled, through his first 2 years, and he got off to a cold start this year, but he put in a lot of work over the offseason and retweaked his jump shot. And I think we're starting to see that pay off for him. So he's actually been one of their better all-around players over the last 3 weeks since Cade Cunningham's going out. And that Bojan Bogdanovic, like, he's been great all year, but I think we all knew what he could bring here, just from like a scoring standpoint. And he's been that player and more so far. So I would say those two guys in particular have played a really key role. Alec Burks as well. I think he's averaging about 16 off of the bench, since he made his debut 3 weeks ago. So those three guys have really kind of tried to carry this team since Kate went down.
I want to talk quickly about defense, though. You bring up a lot of offense. The Grizzlies, again, for the probably third year in a row, are top of the league in transition points just like back and forth. They get the rebound, they get out and run. That's what Ja is so good at. Detroit is 7th in the league in transition defense. What have you seen from that end on the defensive end, and how do you see that playing out tonight with the Grizzlies fast-paced basketball?
Yeah, overall the Pistons have not been that good defensively. It seems like a lot of their wins have been by pretty big scoring margins. They still let Dallas get up to 125, although that was OT, and then they gave up 140 points in regulation earlier last week. I would say they have some guys who could definitely get up and down the floor. Killian is a pretty good man-to-man defender. Jaden Ivey's not the best defender right now, but he's quick. They have a guy in Isaiah Stewart. They do have individual guys who compete really hard on defense. And, I think with Isaiah in particular, he's a pretty strong rebounder, but he can handle a lot of different assignments. So a lot of times you'll see him, race down the floor and, just kind of pick up whoever's trying to set up that transition opportunity. So I would be surprised if that number stays top 10 all season, obviously, because they have not been that great defensively overall. But they have guys who try hard, and obviously that I think that could just be an effort stat for them.
Who has the defensive assignment today to contain John Morant?
My assumption is that would be Killian Hayes, who, again, I think of all their wing players, he's their best defender. But it'll be by committee too. I'm sure they switch a good bit. I don't know if you can switch against Ja. Like, I know that Isaiah Stewart's holds his own pretty well against smaller wings and guards, but Josh probably in that category of being so quick that you don't necessarily want a big on him. So I think it'll be a lot of work for Killian Hayes. Maybe they sprinkle some Jaden Ivey in there, but primarily I think that's Killian.
And we love to see some Jaden Ivey and John Morant connections. Like when we played Detroit in the preseason, I felt like that was such like a special thing. Hopefully, I didn't check if Notre Dame, is available or close by. Maybe we'll see Jaden's mom in town today with that connection. Very lastly, Omari, I have been talking to other teams about how great the Grizzlies have been on the offensive boards and the second chance opportunities, getting those second chance points. And it seems like every single one of these, I'm like, okay, how do you stop us? Like, you guys can't compete with us. But Detroit is actually like top 10, top 15-ish in that category as well. Is that something that, who Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Stewart are priding themselves on?
Yeah, just as far as the rebounding.
And offensive rebounding and second chance points. Seems like
Yeah.
this is one of the teams that could compete with the Grizzlies in that category.
Yeah, both of those guys are good rebounders, but also another player that Memphis are familiar with, Jalen Duren, has also been a really great offensive rebounder as a rookie. And I would say that's probably been his best skill so far. He's just the way he jumps, his wingspan, he really out jumps a lot of guys. And he's been a much stronger offensive rebounder than defensive rebounder. So I would say him and Bagley especially get a lot of tip-ins and putbacks for the Pistons. And that's been pretty consistent for them. Isaiah Stewart as well, but I would say Bagley and Jalen Duren have really kind of made a difference on that end for the Pistons.
Yes, so many Memphis connections between the Grizzlies or at least Memphis as a city and Detroit. I'm so excited for tonight. Omari, thank you for the first time this week. We'll see you again on Friday.
Yeah, I'll be back on here soon. And as always, thanks a lot for having me, Kelcey.
Of course, I appreciate your time. And Grizzlies fans, remember, it's a 5 p.m. Central tip. So eat dinner early or get ready to eat it while you're watching. You can watch it on Bally Sports Southeast or the Bally Sports Plus app.